Today's episode is sponsored by Some Edibles CBD infused products. That's SUM Edibles and can be found at someedibles.com. They have a variety of yummy treats, including
vegan organic gummies,
brown buttered chocolate chip cookies,
and marshmallow cereal bars, just to name a few.
For fans of the podcast, you can use the promo code WIFE, that's WIFE, to receive 10% off your order.
Again, promo code WIFE for 10% off your order.
So, head to someedibles.com today. Hey everybody, welcome to Drunken Housewife Reviews. I'm Sarah, the Drunken Housewife.
And I'm her host, husband Ian, who tries to keep her on the rails the best I can.
And it's a full-time job. And tonight we're having an Artie party with our favorite connection to the other side, Artie Hoffman. Welcome to the
thank
show.
you.
Author of Have Your Angels Call My Angels that I'm through. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm loving it. I was telling Ian, it kind of reminds me when I went to church, the little daily devotional things that they gave you. Because, it's like I'll put it down and then I'll pick it up and open it up. And what I'm reading is something that is relevant to things that are on my mind or things that are happening. So I'm really kind of enjoying it. It's one of those you can kind of put down, come back to later, and you'll find something in it that is relevant to your life, basically. So
yeah, each chapter is short and sweet and to the point, and it talks about very deep subjects, about relationships or about your thought process with whether it be the Holy Spirit, whether it be with your lover, your kids, whatever. There's many different aspects. How I came up with these chapters, these topics, is that these are the most talked about questions as a psychic and a therapist that people want to know about. And so that's what I put in there. So when I wrote the book, when I first started writing that book and my other book called Angels and Answers, what I did was I just wrote down the chapters. That's all I did. The chapters represented the topic. Mm-hmm. And then the moment I was ready to write the book, all I had to do was look at the chapter. I didn't write everything down verbatim in that moment. I just had to write down all these chapters. And then as soon as my mind was into it, I just looked at the chapter and I knew what I wanted to say just by the title of the chapter.
Yeah. And like I said, it's just, it is one of those things I'll thumb through it and open it up. And, what I'm reading is something that either provokes some thought or like I said, is relevant to things that are going on in my life that I'm like, okay, this is another viewpoint. This is another way to look at whatever it is. Or, even a few answers, maybe I should try that. Maybe I should, nothing else I've tried has worked. Let's give this a try.
What was one of your I just want your audience to know that we've never discussed this at all. Pre-discussed it at all. This is all raw.
Yeah,
this is raw.
Yeah, so, I'm trying to find.
So I was curious, like, what was maybe one of your biggest aha moments or your biggest I just had deja vu.
Yeah. That I have that a lot, and it's really kind of unsettling and weird.
I have a knowledge to deja vu as well.
Yeah. There was a whole chapter on what was it? Not like how to pray, but how to pray.
How not to.
How not to pray. And it's like, when will they ever leave me alone? Well, okay, then, it's kind of a be careful of what you wish for thing. Instead go with a positive thing of.
So in other words, so your audience understands more, don't ever say, it's very important to only say what you want.
Yes.
Positive affirmations. Never say, I don't want to grow poor, old, and alone, because then that's exactly what's going to happen, because you're putting that fear energy out there. And if
Yeah.
your energy of fear is greater than your energy of desire, then that's exactly what you're going to experience.
Yeah. And because then it's followed by the right way to pray to attract good
To say, yes, I
situations.
wish
And
to have,
yeah.
like if you're praying for a home, say, I say, just don't say, I want a home by the beach, or I just want to get a home. I just want to get a house. I want a place to live. No, I want a healthy home that I could comfortably afford,
Yes.
and then you just project it where you would like to be,
Yeah. And I do love that in there, some of the examples are starting with thank you. Thank you for what I've got. Thank you for the blessings in my life. Thank you, putting some positive, like you said, some positive things into it, out there. Because I know, and I'm guilty of it myself, is, oh dear God, I just wish. And it's like, okay, first of all, he's dealing with a lot. You're not the only person down here asking him for stuff. And it's like, yeah, start off with, I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful.
The thing is, people put more energy into what's not right in their life or what sucks in their life.
Yes.
And so therefore that energy starts to grow more and more, rather than, certain situations in your life, you have every right to get upset or angry, or this sucks, that sucks, he sucks, she sucks, everybody, and you're right. But the thing is, you also have to put it into perspective. So you need to put more energy into the solution and not as much energy into what the problem is. We know what the problem is, and it sucks. But now what are we going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Or you just rather just play the victim and just bitch and complain about it?
Yeah.
Because they are not going to change. The situation might not be able to change, but how you choose to deal with the person or how you choose to deal with the situation is really very important on how to overcome a situation, so that you're not a victim, or is this what I want? So
Yeah.
I always say, if you could compromise with the person, or if you could compromise the situation and make it better, it might not be perfect, but if you can make it better to your liking, then great. But if it can't, and no matter what you do, or your partner's just giving you crap no matter what you say, and you're always wrong, and I don't want to see a therapist, and I don't want to do this, and you suck, and nobody wants you, blah, 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 then the bottom line is you need to get rid of it. You need just to cut it out like cancer. You need to get rid of it.
Yeah.
And if your job is not making you fulfilled, a lot of people have what's known as golden handcuffs. Golden handcuffs is when you're in a job or a relationship or a situation you don't like, but the benefits are just good enough, it keeps you there.
Yeah.
So people are seduced by the dark side to say, you could deal with it. Don't worry, it's not that bad. And then your ego starts to justify why they're not as bad, or it's not so bad, or it could be worse. But the bottom line is, you're waking up every day being unhappy.
Yeah.
Or you're looking at your partner and you're saying, you know what you just said offended me, and the way you look offended me, and the way you respond offended me. You breathing offends me. So when you get to that point where just everything about your partner, or whoever is bothering you, you need to really make healthier choices. Like I said, if you can't talk to them or compromise or make it better, then you need just to move out of this situation. And they go, yeah, but because of expectations is the number one killer to the human spirit. It really is. Expectations. And because of everyone else's expectation, they're going to get disappointed, and they're going to get upset, or the family might think that I suck or whatever. And I've had that in my previous relationships, but you know what? They haven't walked a mile in my shoes, and they don't understand. They only understand one side.
Yeah.
They don't understand the big picture. So therefore, I understand why they feel the way they do. And I don't hold anger towards, I'll say, my ex-in-laws. And it's not just them. It could be, with other situations, but I'm just thinking about this one moment. So, so even though they're angry and upset with me, and I understand, I really do. So an interesting thing that happened to me in life, it was very strong. I know my mom, before she passed, she was literally my number one person in my world. She was just awesome, funny, loving, very unconditional. She wouldn't always take my side though. She would hear me out just because I was her son, and I would bitch and complain about my wife. And she would say to me sarcastically, she goes, aren't you glad you could just wake up every day and just say, thank God I was born perfect? And I said to her, I said, Ma, if I could kiss myself on the lips, I would. So
I know I've run into people where it's like, God, I just wish I could be as perfect as they think they are. I mean,
Yeah.
there are some people in my life. It's like, God, I can I have your special mirror that you look into every day and say, God, look at how perfect I am. Can I borrow that? Because,
Tends to work for
yeah,
them.
it's like, I want that. I want to wake up every morning and think, look at how perfect I am. And you obviously have that special mirror.
it was really funny. I want to get back to my story, but it was really funny. I
Okay.
just said to one of my friends today, he has a deli, and I went into my other friend. He has a business, cleaning clothes and stuff, cleaners. And so he was in the back, and I was waiting to pick up my clothes, and I yelled out to him. I said, John, and I looked on the wall. I said, I love the picture you have on your wall. And he goes, what picture? There's no picture. I said, oh, I'm sorry. It was a mirror. I thought it was a picture. I said, I thought it was really good. But fortunately and unfortunately, the mirror is a lot of people's best friend, where they get so full of themselves. Now, if people think I really am full of myself, then you really don't know me. I joke about it, and that's it. But people always say, oh, Artie's in love with himself, and Artie's this and Artie's that. And I do love myself, but I love you guys as much as I love myself. I don't put myself above anyone else, or because I have a gift, I don't put myself above anyone else. So the story that I wanted to tell you is that so I'm born and raised in a Jewish family. My whole family through and through is Jewish. And both my brothers, I have two older brothers, my parents, they're both married to the same people since the Johnson administration forever, but unfortunately, I wasn't that lucky to have somebody that I went from one relationship to another to another.
Yeah.
So being that, my first wife was Jewish, and we were together for a long time. People get used to seeing each other, and we always got along. We never argued. We next to never argued. We have our disagreements, but we really never argued. And so when I told my mom that, now I had to tell each individual, I had to go on rather than just telling the whole group. It was just too much to handle. Everybody's personality is different. So when I told my mom that I fell in love with another girl, this is after my first wife now, and I fell in love with another girl. And of course, the first words out of her mouth were, is she Jewish? And I said, no, Mom, but I promise you, you're going to love her. She's beautiful, and she's beautiful inside and out. You're going to love her. She goes, do you know the kind of shit your father's going to give me? The kind of crap I have to listen? And I said, Mom, I already knew that. And no, I always protected my mom, always, up against my dad, because my dad was very emotionally abusive. But I said to my mom, as much as I loved her and I knew what was to happen, I said, Mom, I'm not responsible for your happiness. I'm not doing what I'm doing to hurt you or to hurt anybody. I'm doing it because this is what feels right in my heart. And she said, you're 100% right. I'll deal with it. And so I waited a few days because I told my mom first. So I waited a few days until I went to my parents' house because I knew my father was going to throw a royal conniption. I knew he was going to throw a fit. So I walked in, and he's yelling at the top of his lungs, and he goes, you have my blood running through your veins. I said, don't worry. Tomorrow I'm getting a transfusion.
There you go. We'll take care of that.
You have nothing to worry about.
Yeah.
The Hoffman blood will not be tainted. So I shall honor the Hoffman name. I will erase it so no other Hoffman will be tainted.
There you go.
So you don't ever have to worry. But a lot of people stay in circumstances because of other people. And a lot of it has to do with because of the kids. you know,
Mhm.
and that's a terrible reason to stay together because of the kids, because the kids feel the energy and they feel all that negativity, even without saying anything. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
just feel it, and it's not right. And if you're not happy, it's not the right thing to do, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I
Mhm.
know, I used to be a preschool teacher, and it just amazed me the number of parents. I was just like, God, I just wish they would get a divorce. Yeah, their kid would be so much happier if they got
Yeah.
a divorce. And they're like, no, we have to stay together now that we have this kid. I'm like, why?
And unfortunately, a lot of people think, well, let's have another child that will bond us together. No,
Yeah,
that's more
no.
problems.
Yeah, that's just
Yeah.
adding. That's a
That's a
financial
real
strain. That's a
stupid
mental
reason.
strain. It's an
Yeah.
emotional strain.
Or they feel
Yeah.
like they're trapping their partner, whether it
Yeah.
be the
Yeah.
girl to the guy or the guy to the girl. The guy to the girl wants her to be home barefoot and pregnant and stay home and raise the kids. And
Yeah.
another reason why she can't go out. When it gets to that point, it's all about trust. And if you don't have trust in a relationship, I don't care how much you love somebody. You could love somebody out of 10, but if you don't trust them, then you do not have a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because I know, like, when he became a flight attendant, and there's Spooky's tale. Can you move through? Thank you. When he became a flight attendant, there were so many people that were like, well, how can you trust him being on the road? And it's like, because I do.
Because he's not on the road, he's in the air.
Well, but I mean, you know,
That
it's like,
too.
yeah, he's gone for 3-4 days at a time, but I trust him completely because I know he's out there, you know, living like I could walk into the room any minute. And what would he want me to see him doing? And, you know, the longer he's been at the job now, it's like, honey, he's too tired. He's too tired for an affair.
Yeah.
There's
It's
just too much
work.
involved, you know,
Too much
too
work.
much
But the
involved.
thing is, when your heart is,
But-
the bottom line is no. Listen,
Yeah.
anybody can make anything happen. What you're saying, those are just,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for saying, are just excuses or whatever.
Yeah.
If he wants it bad enough, or if you wanted it bad enough, or if anybody wants it bad enough, you're going to make it happen.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah.
the bottom line is, when your heart is fully fulfilled with someone, it's like that's not even in the equation for that to possibly happen. The only reason why, you know, he hasn't fooled around is because his heart is totally fulfilled. It has
Oh.
nothing to do with the travel. It has nothing to do with opportunity is nonstop all around people. But when your heart is 100% fulfilled, then that's up to that person where you can't allow it to happen. Anybody could hit on you, you know, and that's nice. And it's a nice stroke for the ego, and it's cute, flirtatious, and a cute, you know, conversations and stuff.
Mhm.
But it's all within the person receiving it is the one where it comes down to. So it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with the logistics or the geographics or whatever. It has to do with his heart is 100% fulfilled. And you owe me $1,000 for saying that, by the way.
Okay, I know that's crap because we don't have $1,000. So, if we did, it would be so worth it though, just because that's on video
Oh,
now.
yeah.
I have proof. You know, I can be like, no, remember what Artie said. See,
Yeah.
but no, this time of year though, with your gifts, because I know I am all things Halloween. I am this is my season. This is, you know, my jam, so to speak. But do you find I've always imagined people with your kind of gift. I'm sorry. Let me just rip his earbuds out. I'm still doing it. Are we
That's
good
fine.
now?
Yep.
Okay, there we go.
We'll edit
Anyway,
that part out. Continue.
but I just, there's a long history of the belief of this time of year, the veil between the spirit realm and here thinning.
Between heaven and earth.
Yeah, thinning, and I've just always kind of pictured people, you know, who have a gift like yours, almost like being just inundated. And I know that's probably not right, but do you find like more and more at this time of year, like things coming in, or is it just like the same for you? Or
It's same for
That's
me.
true.
It's same for me 365 days of the year. The circumstances for my abilities to be a little stronger than others Number one has to do with the energy of where I'm at and where the person is at, where I'm reading. And then also 100% of the times, I won't say most of the times, 100% of the times, when I'm by water, my gifts are much more enhanced. So when I'm by the ocean or by a lake, by body of the water, then negative eons from the water enhances everyone's gifts of intuitiveness. And that's a fact. I'm not just
I've heard that before.
So, but I mean, I am blessed enough that no matter where I'm at, my abilities are pretty sharp, especially after a little schnapps. It's it helps me get me in that little.
I find tequila helps a lot of stuff for me.
Tequila,
yeah. Tequila either helps or hinders. It really depends on your intent for the evening. So,
actually, the Long Island iced teas are pretty damn good too. I got to tell you.
Yeah.
So
I pretty much think any alcoholic beverage, it's your intent. If you're in it to celebrate, then it's going to help. And if you're just in it to forget your troubles, it's not. It's good. Just
well, that's why if anyone who's watching, if you want to know what business to get into, the liquor store is the best, because people are going to celebrate and people are going to drown their sorrows. So that is like the number one business to get into.
Exactly.
Or I said to somebody, if you want to open up an auto body shop, just open it up right next to a driving school. You'll do pretty well there too.
There you
go. There you go.
No, but in reality though, to what we were just talking about, when I drink hot tea, literally Lipton, plain black Lipton hot tea, I like a little lemon or lime juice in it. When I drink hot tea, it enhances my abilities. And I don't know why. I'm not sure if it's the nicotine. I mean, not the nicotine, the caffeine of it, or but if I'm feeling very emotionally edgy because of personal reasons, literally, when I have a little drink, like, whether it be a beer or a drink or whatnot, it takes the edge off and I'm able to fly. I really am.
I wonder, because I know for me, like a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or, really any drink, there's, at least to me, sort of a almost routine to it. Like, not really a ceremony, but like, the routine of it to prepare it and the whole nine, that you really kind of have to slow down and think about it and all of that. And then with a hot liquid, you can't chug it down. You have to sip it. You have to, it's a slower thing. And I know, at least for me, that's part of like what relaxes me is the whole routine of fixing it, because I have to do this and I have to do this and then you can't rush drinking it. You have to slow down and drink it. And I think that physically slowing down for me sometimes.
Well, not that, but too,
for what I
focus as well.
Yeah.
For what I do, there's no prep work whatsoever. I mean, I say a little prayer. I say a prayer to the angels, say thank you for enhancing the abilities. My prep work takes all of about 15 seconds of a little prayer. And I never know what I'm going to say, even with the interview that we're doing now. I never know what I'm going to say in an interview. I don't know what I'm going to do at a party. I do Artie parties, or events, or when I do private sessions. I never know until that moment happens. And that all comes to blind faith. So a lot of times, it's like I do this one event every single month at Panini Grill in Freehold, New Jersey. And, and I'm driving there and I believe it or not, I'll play upbeat rock and roll music to get my vibrations up. It's not like holier than art thou type music. It's not religious music. Once in a blue moon, I'll play it, but usually to get my blood pumping and stuff or to feel good. And then I'll walk into the restaurant. I feel no spirituality whatsoever. I'm talking to everybody in the moment, no spirituality whatsoever. But the moment I go to the first person, because at my personal shows, everybody will get a something. We'll get a reading. I won't just read for like 6, 7, 8 people. They get 10 minutes of my time. Then everybody else walks away with nothing. Everybody at the shows that we produce, which is usually anywhere from 20 to 30 people. So I could do that because everybody will get like 2 to 3 minutes per person. So whether I connect to a loved one or talk about their love life or their kids or whatever, but it's usually something powerful. And then, of course, in between, I'm talking shtick. There's, funny stories
Yeah.
or jokes that hit me in the moment. My favorite joke that I love to say at all my events, I got it from my friend Mike Marino, who's a professional comedian. He's an Italian comedian. He always talks about Italians, always. And so he said this one joke. I said, Mike, that's my favorite joke. I'm going to steal it. He goes, go ahead. And I always give him credit. You know that little boy from The Sixth Sense where he says, I see dead people? He says, if that little kid was in an Italian family, kid, you saw nothing, you saw nobody, you get out of here. You saw no dead people, get out of here.
Okay, that was good. That was good.
I mean, yeah, okay, yeah.
Kid, you saw nothing, you get out of here.
Nothing.
That was good.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Yeah, I know. Our last interview that we had with you, you threw me because I was just joking with, if anybody was coming through, and then you threw something from my mom at me that what was it, that she liked the white, and it took and it took me a minute or two to process that until I figured out it was my hair, because she always wanted her hair this color. And I remember talking to my niece, who is also my hairdresser, telling her what you said. And she's like, well, of course, Nana always wanted somebody's hair to be this color, and I guess it's you. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. But yeah, I can personally attest to you throwing something out that is something that you can't get just from guessing.
Yeah, because it comes to me spiritually. It's like, how did you know that name, or how did you know that situation? It's like, I didn't know until the spiritual world gave me the answer. That's how I know. It's just because they do talk to me. There's going to be a situation with Ian where he's going to like something a real lot, and you're going to think it's hideous. You're going to think it's ugly. And then all of a sudden he's looking, he goes, well, I guess I don't like it. Or I guess it's not as nice as I thought. It could be in the way he dresses or something that he just got. So, wow, I really like this. And you're going, oh my God, that's disgusting. You go, well, I kind of like it. And, but I don't even know if he's going to admit it. He's going to put it down or change or whatever. But
I'm laughing because he was watching a show just before we interviewed you that I'm like, what in the hell is this? It's some animated mess from DreamWorks. I'm just like, what LSD fever dream created this thing? This is the stupidest thing. And he's like, I really liked it. So
yeah, see, there you go.
Because sometimes he'll show me something and I'll be like, okay, I can see where you'd like this. But this, I'm just like, what? So it's kind of funny that you said that, because
so it just happened. That's what it was about.
Yeah. Because I was just like, I have no idea why you like this, but whatever. I don't have to.
See, but that's it. To each his own. It's to each his own. If that's what floats your boat, then keep doing it. Why not? So long as it's not disturbing your world and he likes it, why not?
I mean, I have earbuds and a phone. I can do whatever while he watches that. So whatever, more power to you. But and I do that a lot with his writing too, where he'll have me read something and I'll read it and I'm like, this isn't my thing, but I totally support your need to create it. So go right ahead. But when he nails it, when I'm finding something funny, I make sure I tell him. But 9 times out of 10 with his writing, I'm just like, well,
what's diminished humor? I can't help it.
This is you, honey, and I fully support your need to create this, but it's just not my thing, So we always say we have the best mixed marriage in the entire universe, because I think the only thing we agree on is horror movies.
Yeah.
Well, opposites do attract.
So
opposites do attract, and one person complements another, or one's more flighty, the other one's more grounding. And a lot of people watching could relate to that. I would say the only problem with relationships that are like that, I'm not saying this with yours, but there are relationships that are like that. It's when people really beat up the other person. Like, why do you like that for? That's so stupid, or blah, 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 blah. But they really take it to heart, and they try to belittle their partner. Like, what are you crazy for? Or, listen, if you like your thing, you could be you, they could be they, and then we could be we. And that's perfect.
Yeah.
But one of the issues that people have is that whether it be their insecurities, not usually is insecurities, they live too much through their partner rather than living their own life and sharing their life with their partner.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they live through their life, and the other partner's like all their moods and emotions is based on how the partner is responding or reacting. Totally is determined about the mood of their day or the quality of their life.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy if you're walking around on eggshells around your partner. And unfortunately, a lot of people are, and that kind of relationship sucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think we have, I mean, like right now, because of his job, he's gone 3 to 4 days a week. And I tease that he's gone long enough for me to miss him and home long enough to get on my nerves. But I think it's, we're both willing to let the other person do their own thing.
It's a balance.
Yeah. And you have
a balance that works for you.
Yeah. You have to let that other person do their own thing, or you go insane, in my viewpoint.
Well, for me, that was the big attraction, is that you are your own person. You do your own thing. You have your own friends, your own interests, and you are your own person, not just whatever you want, dear. Whatever you feel like, I had that before, and didn't care for it whatsoever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So right, and in certain relationships, there are people who live together, work together. I mean, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work because you're too much. Personal should be personal, business should be business, and then when you're home, it's like, oh, it's so great to see you. It's a break from the work. But when the both of you are in and out, intertwined 24/7, I mean. But some people, their business dynamic is so good, whereas one person is handling the accounting, the bookwork, and the customers, while the other person is handling the workers and the work itself. So you have this perfect dynamic, and you do need each other to make that business work on the most part. Whereas other people, the other person just is kind of helping the other person because of financial reasons. They can't afford to hire somebody else, and they have to do it, and because to keep things rolling. So there's a different dynamic with every relationship. But if it is taking a toll on yourself and the relationship by constantly working together, then you need to hire someone else and somehow figure it out. Either that or disperse somehow with the business, or because it's just not healthy. It really isn't. You wake up every day like ugh.
Yeah.
I just want 5 minutes away from this person. I want 5 minutes not to deal with it. Because I mean, I have friends that they do that. They run businesses together. They do that. And for them, it works.
Right.
And I'm amazed.
Like I said,
by
some
that.
people it does
I'm
work.
amazed by that. Yeah. Because, I know a friend, she's the front of the, she's the customer. She's the, the face of it, while he's in the back, creating and doing that. So he's tucked back, not having to deal with the public, and she's the face of it basically. And it works great for them. And they've been in business now for, good Lord, like 30 some years. So so it works great for them. And I am in awe of people that do that. Cause I know the pandemic with us, I'm like, oh, good Lord, we're going to be trapped in this house together for God knows how long together. Can we do this? And,
and a lot of people, it destroyed their relationship.
It did.
Oh,
It did.
yeah,
And
so
just
many,
because you didn't have enough of that space in between.
Yeah.
So, and then others become more controlling and demanding, and all the little nuances bug the crap out of you, all the little crap, every little thing is like magnified. It's like, whoa. So
yeah. And
it's unfortunate, but
I am amazed that that we came out unscathed. I mean, he found door dashing.
That was a big part.
That was a big help financially and emotionally, because he could go and DoorDash, and he'd be in his car listening to his.
Well, especially the pandemic depression that hit a lot of people, not only being closed in, but just being closed in on individually as far as like not being able to do anything. And that just like compounded the problem.
Mhm.
It wasn't just, oh, well, we have to stay, we had to actually stay in the house and not move. So not only was the relationship confined, but you were personally confined where you couldn't get out, very limited.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I remember, like it was yesterday, that when nobody was on the roads as soon as the pandemic hit, and they scared the hell out of everybody, I didn't buy into it. I didn't like it. I didn't believe it. That's just me. And every day I would drive to the ocean. I would drive to the beach, and there was very few people there. And I would sit in my car and I would relax and just be by the water and watch the birds. And it was just beautiful. It was serene. It was my haven getaway. And I would read, or I would talk to friends while I'm in the car and being with the windows down in the water. And so I did this day after day after day. And that was my serenity, unless if I did have responsibilities to do, then I would take care of that.
Yeah.
So that's how I personally dealt with it. But, I lived by myself, so I could do that. So, and then at times I would go out with a friend here or there, but no, I didn't. I resented the whole thing, the entire thing. I resented it. And I didn't cave to it at all. And that's that,
Yeah, I know. I mean, like I'm one of those people. I can be super social, I'd have to say 90% of the time. But then when I'm done, I'm done. It's like when I'm done peopling, I'm done. I need to be at home. But not being able, Zoom and video chats and all of that with my friends really helped. But one thing we did that we kind of cracked up about, because it kind of took us back to high school, was all meeting in a parking lot. Like we all went and got ice cream, and then we all met in a parking lot, and kind of backed our cars up. So we were in a circle, but we all stayed at our cars and we played, music and chatted and the whole nine. And I'm like, oh my God, we've gone back to high school where we're hanging out in the parking lot of Menards, on a Saturday night, just so that we can see each other. Yeah. And it just cracked me up. It's like, okay, so we've got Def Leppard playing. We've got we've got Ice Cream Paradise, and we're sitting in a parking lot, by our cars.
Funny. I saw a funny saying on the internet, and it said, oh no, actually it was on a tile that I read. It wasn't on the internet. It was on a tile that I got. And it said, never ask a girl how she's feeling while she's eating ice cream out of a tub of ice cream, out of a tub. Never ask her how she's feeling.
That is not reading the room correctly.
Yes. Yeah. If she's just right out of the tub, just walk on. And especially if she's standing in the grocery aisle, right out of the tub, don't even make eye contact.
There you go.
Just walk on. Just keep walking. It'll be fine.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm just adding on, as much as that you're familiar with Rosie O'Donnell, of course.
Of course.
Her early stand-up before she had the show was in movies and everything, since I was a big stand-up nut. She often wonders, like, why didn't if you had like a lady with a tub of ice cream and a box of tampons, you just got out of her way. She just walked through the grocery store, like, oh, look out.
The parting of the sea, so to speak. Just
that's right.
Everybody get out of her way.
So anyway,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, to me, humor is the best medicine. There was a girl that I was hanging out with, and for a short period of time, and you'll understand in a minute. And she goes, why are you always trying to be funny? Do you think everybody thinks you're funny? I mean, that was her attitude. And in that moment, I said, I am so not hanging out with you anymore.
You're like, oh, look at the time. Time to go.
Off.
Yeah.
She was because her life was so miserable that I make friends, and I could see humor in everything. Now, there is a time and a place for everything. There is a time to be serious, and there is a time where you could joke around and stuff. But, you know, when she said that, that instantly told me, well, she's in such a dark place in her life. It's like, I don't want to
Yeah.
hang out with somebody like that. And
Yeah.
my father was very negative most of the time. And he had a sense of humor. He did joke around at times. But most of the times he was just so negative. And so, you know, my dad taught me a lot of how not to be. Whereas my
Mhm.
mom taught me
Yeah.
how to be because she was so loving and nurturing and caring.
Yeah.
And my father, you know, he was a nurturer. He liked to help out people. If somebody needed help, my father was there to help out. But to live with him, that was extremely challenging to say the least.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. But no, I totally agree with you because I don't know if you remember our situation with our daughter. She's physically handicapped and autistic. And throughout the years, there are times where we'll just be totally cracking up about some very, very dark stuff. And we'll turn to each other and we'll be like, anybody outside of this room listening in would think we were certifiable because we're, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
we're laughing about having to have a conversation about, you know, our daughter's bodily functions, and we're laughing about this and that and the other. And
And any quote normal person would be
yeah,
like, what? So like,
yeah, I'm like,
this is what
anybody outside of
Yeah.
see, but that has to do with like your inside joke. That's like your
yeah,
inside thing.
Mm.
And so, right, not a lot of people might not be able to appreciate it from your point of view, but people who are in your position, they could
understand.
definitely relate to it, but not people outside of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, you know, everything is put into perspective as far as what's funny, what's
Yeah.
not funny, and stuff like that, you know?
But you have to laugh. I mean, there have been some dark times in our lives where it's like, if we didn't laugh, we would cry until we just passed out.
Yeah.
I would rather laugh until I pass out, you know, if I had to choose. And
Alan Alda, in one of his movies, I'll never forget this until the day I die. He said, he was explaining something to somebody about something, I forgot, but he said, time plus tragedy equals comedy.
mhm,
Yes.
yes,
Or
yes,
tragedy plus, no, he said
So-
it, tragedy plus time equals comedy. And
yes,
it's true.
it is because, you know, and it's always seemed to be my go-to is to try to make some kind of little joke about something. And there have been times when people are like, you kind of remind me of Clary in that scene in Steel Magnolias where it's like, we needed to lighten up, you know, where she's like, you know, slap Weezer Boudreaux here, hit her. And she's like, you know, it's getting too intense. We needed to lighten up. And they're like, there are times when you're like that. Things are getting way too intense and you'll crack a joke and break that tension. And I'm like, it's because it needed to happen. It needed to happen. There's just too much going on. You have to crack a joke to
Yeah,
lighten the
it's too much.
situation.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
have to, or you're just going to go insane. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
Well,
you
most,
should.
Yeah.
you have to understand that people should also know that most, not all, but most stand-up comics are very depressed people.
mhm,
And most stand-up comics do see therapists or have seen therapists
yeah,
because they could make light of their situations, you know, or their childhood or their relationship or whatever. So they have to laugh about it. And some people just have a very good delivery on knowing how to exaggerate things. I mean, yes, it was true
Yes.
what happened, but yet they exaggerated to that much to make it even that much funnier. And the funny thing is that people could relate to it because a lot of them said, yeah, I've gone through that. I've gone through. And so that's what makes
Yeah.
it so funny because
yeah,
storytelling is very relatable. I mean, there are jokes that are just naturally funny, and then there's storytelling, and then storytelling is also, you know, great for comedy, of course.
yeah,
So when I do my spiritual shows, I definitely throw a lot of humor into what it is I do, because not just for the audience, but I am my best audience. I mean, I make myself laugh.
Mhm.
So I do.
yeah,
I feel like I have very good timing when it comes to comedy, when it's right to say something or to, you know, it's just good, you know, just from experience. Timing is everything in life. Timing is everything in life.
mhm,
When
It
it's
is.
time to push, when it's time to lay back, when it's time to be serious, when it's time to be funny, there is a time and a place for everything.
yes,
Well,
definitely.
I would definitely think with what you do with parties and stuff, putting in the humor. I think when you're getting people laughing, that loosens them up and kind of opens them up. Does that, am I getting that right? That kind of opens them up a little bit more.
Yeah,
that
well,
you
people
can-
are
you can feel
intense or
from
they don't know
them,
what to
or-
expect, or they're very nervous to hear from their mother or their kid or whatever. So they get very nervous. But then when they see that I'm just joking around, it's just like they allow themselves, it's like laughter besides eating the good food of wherever
Yeah.
we're at. Because the places I happen to go to, I could honestly say the food is phenomenal at
Sweet.
different restaurants I've been to. And so between that and then people, listening to other people's stories, and then they can
Mhm.
relate to it, or, so yeah, so it calls for a good time. It calls for a really good time when
Yeah.
I do my live shows, and like, I'm glad that I could give, a little something to everybody. They look
Yeah.
forward to it, and it's really special when I get texts or emails after the show, days later, weeks later, sometimes months later. Artie, oh my God, I was at your show, and in July, and blah blah blah. You said this and that, and oh my God, it's like, well, you were so right on, and that happened, and it's really cool to hear that. And I don't look at it like, Artie Hoffman said this and that. I really don't. I'm not like that. I'm just like, oh wow, that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah.
But like I
Oh, we
said,
get
I always
that.
give credit to the spiritual world, to the Holy Spirit, and to the angels, and they give me all the answers, and they make me look good. So, thank you.
Very cool. Very cool.
Artie's entourage making him look good.
There
Uh,
you go. So I
yeah.
don't get nervous when I'm speaking in front of a live audience, or when I'm on the radio, or when I had, this was funny. The very first time I was on an FM radio station, which was about, I don't know, maybe 14, 15 years ago, I was only supposed to be on one time. And then after I left the station, the next day, the producer called me and says, Art, he goes, 22 people called in after you left. He goes, how would you like to be on our show on a regular basis? So I was on their show for 12 years.
There you
After
go.
You never know.
You never know.
You never know. Yeah.
And so the very first time I was on the show, on the radio show, was out of the Atlantic City area. And I admit I was a little nervous, more excited, but a little nervous, because it was the first time I'm putting myself out there publicly.
Mhm.
And so the producer, who really wasn't a believer before I started, afterwards he became one, but beforehand, and he said, so Art, he goes, you have any lottery numbers for us? And so I said to him, I said, that's easy, 107.3. So the radio station was 107.3. So I just said, that's easy. I said, it's 107.3. So the next day he emails me, he goes, Art, I don't know if you were joking or if you really meant it, but you're only off by one number.
Oh, well, there
Okay,
you
so
go.
Artie, do you have any lottery numbers for me?
No, but
yeah.
the thing is, I've given out well over 100 winning lottery numbers or gambling situations, but it has to come to me naturally.
Yeah.
See, back
Oh,
then I
sure.
was joking around, but when people ask me, I know you're being playful.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
people ask for the lottery number, I can't give it. It's just, I can't. But when I'm doing a show, when I'm doing a live show, I tell everybody, if I get any lottery numbers, I will whisper it in your ear, because it's only meant for you to
Sure.
have,
Yeah.
because that's coming from your loved one or your angel.
Sure.
Okay.
If I get any dirt on you, I said, again, I will whisper it in your ear. I will not put it out there to the
Gotcha.
general public. So I
I
said,
say, if you come up with any dirt on me, probably 95% of the people I know already know it. So just go ahead and say it, because they'll be like, yeah, that came from your dad. We know. Mhm. Yeah. So,
oh yeah, that's no new news. Now tell us something new.
yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. You know, like I said, 95% of the people will be like, that came from your mom or your dad, right? And it's like, yeah, yeah. You know, they always spoke truthfully. I mean, we
Yeah,
always said, you know,
some people are too blunt with the truth, and they need practice on knowing how to deliver their messages.
mhm.
And it's always nice to tell the truth, but it's not what you say, it's how you say it is what's very important. So if you want other people to appreciate what you have to say, or to take in what you have to say, then learn a little couth and style on your delivery, because just being blunt. But then there are other times where other people are overly protective by trying to protect too much,
Mhm.
and they're dancing around it, and you got to be blunt with them because they know no other way, because you're dancing around the truth too much, or you're not being direct enough.
Yeah.
So again, it depends on the circumstances and the personalities of what you're dealing with, of what determines when to deliver or how to deliver the message.
Yeah.
Just because, you want to capture somebody. Are they in a better mood at the beginning of the day, or is it better at nighttime? Is it better after they just had a good meal? Is it better after you just had sex? Is it better? Whenever it may be. But you need to know the dynamic of the personality of when it is important to deliver certain news.
Mhm.
And another good tidbit that I tell people is that when you're having a confrontational conversation, it's going to be confrontational when you talk to the person. Don't stay inside your house, or try not to stay in the office. Walk outside while you're on the phone, whoever you're talking to. Be outside and just look into the trees, or look into the ocean, or look just out in nature, and just talk to them that way. It's much easier, because if you're taking that energy and then bring it, you're doing it inside, it's easier to do it outside, and then you come in kind of refreshed. There is a different energy when you have a hard conversation with somebody, to talk to them while you're outside, even if they're not with you, or when you're texting someone.
Okay.
Mhm.
Try to explain the emotions behind the words you're saying, because that's left up into misinterpretation a lot of times.
Yes. I think that's I know his biggest pet peeve, and
Or
mine
emails.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't
Yeah. I
understand the intention behind some words.
exactly. It's
Yeah,
kind of
unless
hard to
if
be
you
sarcastic
explain
or
yourself
whatever,
behind the words, so that the people could appreciate what you're saying. Or sometimes you're in that lovey-dovey mood, or you got time in your hands, and hey, sweetie, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. I love you so much. You're getting all cute enough, and they're going, oh, thanks, or here, XO. It's like, what the hell was that?
Yeah.
Like, you don't know where they're at. Just because you're in that mood doesn't mean they're in that mood.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
another
Mhm.
important thing, which I might have mentioned in my book, just because you're ready to heal from a relationship, whoever you have to talk to, it doesn't mean they're in that same space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you
Yeah.
could put it out there, but if they're not receptive, then just let them know, okay, my doors are open. I just wanted you to know how I feel, or whatever it is. But you got to learn to be patient, but you can't go pushing somebody
Yeah.
Yeah.
when they're not in that emotional space to hear it.
Yeah. Because
I
I know.
understand what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I know, like, I have a friend that's going through a lot, and I just messaged him. It's like, I don't need to know all the details, but if you need somebody to talk to, I'm here, and I'm supporting. You have my support, you have my love, and all of that. I don't want to be the person like, oh my God, tell me everything. I've got to know everything going on in your life right now. It's like, no, I don't need to know all the details.
Or,
you want me to know them,
Yeah.
This is funny. So you could be like a regular therapist to them, and after they state their case of whatever it is they talk about, and how do you feel about that? And how do you feel about
that?
And that's
That's
like,
true.
they don't give you necessarily solid answers. A lot of therapists, they go, and how do you feel about that? You just said it, and a lot of times when people just talk things out just to say it, you don't always have to come up with the solid answer. Sometimes they just need to spew
Yeah.
without you trying to solve their problems. They don't even want that a lot of times.
Yeah. I have a friend that's like, okay, are you in a venting mood, or are you, seeking solutions?
Right.
And it's like, I think that's the best thing somebody can say to somebody, when it's like, I just
like
need to
that.
I need to talk to somebody about this. Like, okay, do you need to vent, or are you seeking solutions? I just need to vent. Okay, go. They just need that ear. They just need somebody to be like,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, not only that, but you
and
know
just
how to
hear.
receive it as
Yeah.
well.
And it's like,
So yeah.
You can have solutions in your head, but if you start trying to give them solutions and they don't want them yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not ready to hear
Yeah.
it, or they don't believe in that concept. So again, delivery is important.
Yeah.
I've been dubbed many years ago by one of my friends, and she calls me, and other people have called me this too. You're my psychic therapist, because a lot of times people feel like they're in therapy with me rather than just being a psychic, because I give them a heads up, and I give them a healthy way to look at what their problem is. And a lot of times I feel the emotions and the feelings of what they're going through. I don't even know what the problem is, but I say, you got to do this, you got to, and they know exactly usually how to where to put it, because of that's the feelings that they're feeling, and say, I know what you're talking about. I know who you're talking about. I said, well, obviously this is a problem to you because this is what I'm picking up from you. And that's without them saying boo.
Yeah.
You know, it's just something that I get. So that's an advantage that I have over other therapists, whereas I could see into the future and not just putting two and two together.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, what would be, because I'm trying to figure out how to say what I'm trying to say is what would be your best piece of advice to somebody going through like a really, really tough time?
It depends what the tough time is.
Yeah, I was gonna say that too.
What do you mean?
I guess specifically.
Yeah, I know. That's what
idea?
I'm trying to figure out a way to say that. Cause like,
okay, sorry.
Yeah. Cause, I mean, like the one friend that I was talking to.
Put it this way, I just want to say something.
Uh-huh.
When I do a reading, every single read is uniquely different. There might be similar components. I'll give you an example, because what you were asking, like all the cars that are outside right now, all of them have, or I'll say 99% have 4 wheels, have an engine, have a transmission, have 2 doors or 4 doors, have a trunk, but yet they're all uniquely different.
Yeah, exactly.
And so when you say, when someone's going through hard times, are you talking financially, emotionally? No. Are you talking about taking care of a sick one? I mean, there's a lot.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to say it without like putting the person on blast, basically. But dealing basically with the death of a parent that you've had a very complicated relationship with. Because I know I've gone through it, but again, I'm a different person than they are, and their complicated relationship with their parent was different than my complication.
Hold it. I'm going to give you one word.
Okay.
I'm going to give you one word where it comes down to.
Okay.
So that you could heal and everybody could heal. Forgiveness.
See, that's one thing. It's hard. It's an easy word to say. It's a very, very easy word to say. Not a very, very easy word for a lot of people to do. And
if you want to heal the relationship, if you want to heal your body, if you want to heal your life, the most important ingredient is forgiveness. And then that has to do with being unconditional with your love. And you have to understand that person growing up, the hardships that they had to go through that made them be that way. People are born pure with they're green, they're soft, they're whatever. And it's by how they're raised is what causes them to feel the way they feel. Like I know, even though my father was a very difficult personality to deal with, my whole family and myself, we understand why he was the way he was. But, but it all comes down to learning how to forgive the person.
Okay.
So, and you're forgiving the other person, not for their sake, for your sake. Because when you're holding on to anger and resentment, it's causing emotional pain and physical pain in your body.
Yeah.
You cannot give the best of yourself to other people because you're still holding on anger and resentment to the other person. So if you have spilt milk, literally, all of a sudden somebody spills milk or they broke a glass, son of a bitch, and you start freaking out. You're over exaggerating a simple moment that you could clean it up and whatever. But the reason why some people are so explosive so consistently is because they're built up anger of their past. It has nothing to do with the spilt milk or that person just hit you with their elbow by accident. It has nothing to do with that. It's all this anger and resentment in your subconscious that is, it's a way for you to release that anger.
Okay. Yeah.
So for your sake, the best thing that you could do is look at anything that you could find about your dad or about that person who hurt you and say, well, thank you for that gift, that you, something positive, that they left you a mark in this world, something positive. And then I forgive you because you did the best that you can do with what was left you. But now that experience has made me a better person, because I wrote my father a thank you note for being my dad. And I said that to my brother. He says, what are you, crazy? And I said, because of you, I've learned what not to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My father was a representation of what not to do. So I said, because of you, you stepped on all the landmines, and I would not want to cause that kind of pain, emotional pain, to someone else.
Okay.
So a lot of
Yeah.
people will still hit me with a lot of little pellets that I find annoying or hurtful, but I don't lash out at them. And I've learned in my relationship with the females in my relationships that if I was to give them what they give me, they could not handle it at all. And so the funny thing is, and again, I remember it like it happened yesterday, and I was married 3 times, and this is with my 3rd wife. So when I would express something that was really bothersome to me, and I would express it to my wife, and she would say, why are you being such a jerk? Why are you coming out like, why are you being so attacking? I said, why is it when you're expressing yourself, you're expressing your feelings and how you feel? But when I express myself and I'm expressing my feelings, how I feel, I'm a jerk. And she goes, because I'm a girl and you're a guy, and that's just the way it is. And boom. And she said it in a funny way, but it's almost like she meant it, but she said it in a humorous way.
Yeah. There's
But it
truth
really
in it
is.
though. Yeah.
But there's a truth of how people really feel. But believe me, there are times I remember specifically with my 2nd wife, she would say things or do things that were very not cool. And I would say to her, I said, listen, I said, lay off of what you're doing. I'm being very general because I don't want to throw dirty laundry out.
Yeah.
So I said to her, lay off what you're doing, because I have a hydrogen bomb over you. I could blow you out of the water. Just cut the shit, cut it out. I don't appreciate it. I don't like it. Stop being like this. And then there were times where I did lash out, but because I'm the calm guy, I'm always the nice guy, that when I do get upset and I do it, people listen and people get very upset of it because it is so not my character. So for me to get angry or really upset with somebody, it's like they get scared or they get worried, like something's wrong, because Artie just freaked out, because it's not my nature. If you're always using your bomb as a part of your personality, people become immune to it.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, it's not a big deal. Like, oh, that's them just reacting. That's them just, acting like a jerk or yelling and screaming. That's just them. You become immune. It's not comfortable, but it is what it is. But when somebody is consistently charming, calming, understanding, and then they freak out, something's definitely wrong in Denmark, because that's not their character. So for them to get that kind of upset, people will listen. So it's been like that literally my whole life. If I'm yelling or going nuts, people listen. And I always try to explain things, what's not right, or if I'm offended. And I always explain things with rhyme and reason and logic, not just from my point of view, but I do try to compromise a lot with the people in my life and the circumstances in my life. But I'm firm but fair. And some people might not like my answer, but I know it's a fair answer, even though they might not like it. So the answer that you have to a situation, it might not be the most popular decision, but if you feel that's what's right in your heart, given the overall circumstances, you need to stand your ground, because a lot of people only look at the situation only from their point of view. They don't realize that you're thinking about this person, that person, and this person, and that person, of why you're coming up with, because you have to think heads up on behalf of all the dynamics of what's going on within the family dynamic or the company or whatever it is. Whereas they're only looking, well, this doesn't serve me well. Well, it might not serve you well right now, but for the now, this is the way it needs to be, but things will get better. Or I understand how you feel, but this person would get hurt too much if I just do this for you, or over here, I can't. So I understand how you feel, but I can't. So when you tell somebody, I understand how you feel, when you're in a debate or an argument, always let the other person speak first, always, because they're giving you the direction of what the problem is or where they're coming from. And so while they're talking, you're thinking to yourself, okay, I see how they feel, or I was going to say this, but thank God I didn't, or this is how I need to come across it. But after they spew off their disappointments or their anger or whatever, you might not disagree, you might not agree with them, but you can say, I understand how you feel. Now, when I say to you, I understand how you feel, it doesn't mean I agree with you. All I'm saying is I understand. And that means everything to everybody when you're taking the time just to listen and say, I understand how you feel. And then after they get it all off their chest, you can say, are you finished? And if they go on a little more, if they say, yeah, now it's my turn to speak, and I just want to state my case and why and whatnot. I heard what you had to say, but this is why I feel the way I did, or this is why I did what I did. Now, if they still interrupt you while you're now talking, say, I gave you the floor before. So if they're not going to be respectful to you after you've given them, you need to walk away, because it's only a one-sided argument. They don't care about your feelings or the thoughts or other people. They only care about themselves. So that's where you need. But if you do have a person of normality, and they'll listen to you and say, I'm trying to work this out. I'm trying to work this out. And sometimes there is no solution. We just agree that we disagree.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I think is the one phrase that has saved a lot of friendship, is we're just going to have to agree to disagree.
Yes.
I think that's just been,
because everyone's entitled to their point of view.
Exactly.
Just because you like chocolate and I like vanilla, it doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It's a personal opinion or a thought about a situation.
Yeah. Because I know there have been many of my friends with a lot of things that it's like, we're just going to have to agree to disagree. And this topic of conversation doesn't need to happen in our friendship, because we know we don't agree on it.
Yeah.
There's so many other things we agree on. There's so many other things that we enjoy doing together, but this one topic needs to stay on the shelf. There
are certain topics that are just taboo with certain relationships, whether it be politics, religion, or family, whatever it is. It's just, you just don't go there, because it's not going to happen. Exactly. And what's cool about having now, my book, what you just said, Angels and Have Your Angels Call My Angels, is a lot about what we were just talking about with relationships and knowing from different perspectives. Yeah. And like I said, it's kind of great. And I don't know if I'm being drawn to a certain page for some reason or something, but like I said, I'll pick it up and, I haven't read through this in a while, and I'll just crack it open, and it's like, okay, this is what I needed to read right now. So like I said, I don't know if I'm being guided, but I'll just pick it up and be like thumbing through it like this, and all of a sudden it's like, boom, this topic is something that I'm worried about, or this topic is something that's on my mind. And, so highly recommend this for people. Highly recommend this for people. So my recommendation to your husband is that if your wife ever tells you, honey, I think this book is being drawn to you, duck, because you got a dog. Here,
honey, read this book. Wham!
It's not that this page is being drawn to me. Honey, this book is being drawn to you. So whack. Well,
I mean, when we looked at this house originally, when we were looking at houses, we were told it was haunted, so things could be flying around. I mean,
and you're disappointed because it was.
I know. I bought this thinking it was a haunted house. No ghosts. I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed. I mean, if you cannot trust a random kid on a bicycle pulling up in front of a house telling you it's haunted, who can, you know,
Well, and that's basically every 80s horror movie.
yeah.
I mean, seriously, come on.
Well, the thing is, heaven doesn't want you and hell is afraid of you. So
There you go.
That's constantly kind of my mantra.
heaven doesn't want you just yet.
Yeah.
Heaven doesn't want you just yet. And hell's afraid of you. So
yeah,
that's why they're letting
yeah,
them up.
they're afraid I'll take over because, you know, that's just me. That's just me.
I saw a cute little saying around last Christmas time, and it said, "Dear Santa Claus, can I please have a list of all your naughty girls?"
Good.
There are many a
Good.
single man that would love that list. That would love that list. But this is the time when we're going to let you promote away on anything. We've been talking about have your angels call my angels. Tequila's kicking in. So I can't talk. But promote away about anything. Do you have any new books coming out? Any new appearances happening here? Promote away.
Well, I do travel to do Artie parties. So if you're buying, I'm flying. I'm in New Jersey. I'm in Woodbridge, New Jersey. I do private sessions over the phone or in person. I'm just as accurate over the phone, or we could FaceTime. And I have a Facebook live show where I do free psychic readings every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
And I do it for 1 hour. And, you know, it's funny, you know, when girls will type in questions, Artie, do you see me getting pregnant soon? My common response is, when you stop watching my show and get in the bedroom, your solution's going to go way up.
There you go.
Your chances increase. Yeah.
I'm going to increase as soon as you stop watching my show and get in the bedroom. And, you know, or when I do live shows, you know, I'm walking around the audience and I'll walk up to a 70-year-old lady or older, and I'll say, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I see your baby making days are over. I don't see you having any more children. But if anybody wants to get a hold of me for a private session or a party or an event, because I do fundraisers, my number is 732-778-7173. Or you can email me, Artie Hoffman at Gmail, ARTIE Hoffman at Gmail, or check out my website, artiehoffman.com, because I have a lot of cool videos on there too, to explain about a lot of, you know, interesting topics and stuff. So, and I want to thank you for having me on. It was a pleasure.
Yeah,
no
this
problem.
is a pleasure. I
It
could
was fun.
seriously talk to you forever. I don't find myself in the New Jersey area anytime soon, but you never know.
I'm a flight attendant for another year, verified today. So you never know. We could fly out there for free.
There you go.
There you go.
Yeah,
You can make it happen. We'll have a fun day. Have a fun day or weekend together. There you go.
There we go. Yeah. Do you mind me flying out to New Jersey to see another man?
Well, trust. There you go.
It'll work.
We'll be on FaceTime the whole time. We'll be
exactly. There you go. There you go.
That'll work. But yeah, this is so great. I'm glad you are our first repeat guest.
Thank
you get to wear that crown for a while.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
Well, I feel special.
You should.
Well, you are special.
Yeah.
Hello.
I mean, you're one of my favorite people to talk to.
Thank you.
But yeah, thank you so much for being on tonight. I'm glad we could get you on.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's artiehoffman.com. Check
I'm
it
on
out.
the process. Yeah, artiehoffman.com and
Yeah.
Artie Hoffman at Gmail if you want to reach me through that way.
Gotcha.
Also, I am in the process of writing a third book, and that's more of a love book. I mean, true love book. It doesn't explain anything so much, but there's a person in my life who I was passionately in love with, and these words of poetry blows me away, let alone her. And I wrote one thing after another, and and she wants to write some of her pieces in it. And I said, okay. So the name of our book, when it does come out, it might not come out for another year or so, but
Sure.
the name of the book is called "You Fill in All My Blanks."
Oh,
I like that.
I like it. Yeah.
Very cool.
And it's a love, and it is based on a lot of love poetry. Every girl will melt if they're man, or girl to girl, guy to guy, whoever, whatever.
Your
But it would
significant
melt
other.
if their
Yes.
partner in life was to write this way to them. But I'm telling you, it's beyond. I can't believe the words and how it flows. It's I don't come. Edgar Allan Poe has nothing over on me when it comes to writing. I'll tell you. I swear to God, I know it sounds cocky, but it's true the way these words, and even though it came out of my mind and my writing, but I really feel like I was led to this. It's almost like I'm taking dictate. I said, my God, I'll give you an example of one piece that I wrote.
Mhm.
It's a very short piece. Most of my pieces are like, one page and that's it.
Yeah.
Page,
Sure.
next page. Some of it's a few sentences, others a little more than that. So I wrote this piece to this girl, and I believe that the moon, I Googled it, is like 279,000 miles away. And so in my piece that I wrote to her, I don't know if I'm going to say it verbatim, but I said to her, I said, honey, I just want you to know, I just got back taking a trip to the moon and back of 587,000 miles. The reason why I took that trip is because when I say I love you to the moon and back, I wanted to know the true meaning and feeling of that experience.
Mhm.
So I said to her, I said, I wanted to know, I wanted to be able to appreciate the words, I love you to the moon and back. So I just took that trip back.
Aw.
So
Sounds like it needs to come out at like Valentine's Day or something, like a
There you
perfect
go.
Valentine's Day present for a
So-
significant.
it's expressed a little more poetically, because when I come up with thoughts like that, beautiful messages, I usually rewrite it with no exaggeration of anywhere from 4 to 7 times, because I'm re-editing and oh, this word would look better and how it flows. And I look at it so that it like really flows, like there's no stumbling blocks.
Mhm.
Like I stumble because I just went off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So, but when I first came out with it, it was like, wow, and then I had to refine it.
Yeah.
But the very first time I ever wrote a love poem, it wasn't to anyone specific, but I had and I was with my first wife, but it wasn't for her. I didn't feel that way about her at this time, but it wasn't for anyone specific, but I had all this passion in me. And we were in between houses of my wife and I. I loved her. I just wasn't in love with her, but I loved her. And so we sold our house, but our other house wasn't finished being built. So my parents were nice enough to let us stay there for a few months. So everyone was asleep, and I wasn't in the mood to go to bed. And so I went outside to my parents' stoop. I'm laying on my back on their cement stoop, and I'm looking up to the skies, and it was clear skies, pitch black, and as many stars as you could imagine. And all of a sudden, just like that, in the night that's filled with darkness, you're the star that shines above. In a world that's filled with anger, you're the source of all my love. If people could experience the joy you bring to me, then people would be gracious, forever they would see. So I live life to its fullest, and it's all because of you. It's the way you live your life that lets me do the things I do. Until death do us part, until death do us part. We were meant for each other right from the start. And it just came out that smooth.
Very cool.
Aw.
Very cool.
And so it's stuff like that I get this now a lot, because this one girl, the energy just makes it explode like that.
Sure.
Mhm.
And so I did show this piece to my wife, because I didn't want her to think that I was having an affair, or because there was nobody. And I
Mhm.
said, look,
Yeah.
and I just said it like this. I said, look at the piece that I just wrote. And she looked at it. She goes, oh, that's nice. And she just threw it to the side. She goes,
Aw.
no, because she says, you don't feel that way about it. She says, you've never expressed yourself that way to me. And she kind of get offended, but everybody else, like her sister, my mother, my mother-in-law, it's like, oh my God, this is amazing. But the truth of the matter was, no, it wasn't for my wife, but I didn't know who it belonged to. But then I would probably say when I met my second wife, I did have that kind of passion for her. And so I ended up revising it a little bit for her,
Okay.
Yeah.
and so it was cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I do like that. Well, again, I say we could talk to you forever.
We'll have to bring you back a little bit sooner than was 6 months.
I don't know, something like that. When the new book comes out, definitely
exactly.
have to have you come back. I don't know. Just anytime you want to chat, give us a
Sure.
call.
Say, hey,
We'll do this,
we need to
'cause,
do this.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we got no problem with
Yeah,
that.
because this is like I said, I could talk to you forever.
Sure.
Yeah, I can't wait until my other book comes out. I
Yeah.
can't wait for the other pieces. Like I said, sometimes I'll be at a concert or I'm watching a movie, and it's just a sentence that was said, or the passion that was said, or the feeling in the moment of whatever.
Oh yeah.
And all of a sudden, while I'm at I feel bad, but I'm at a concert and I'm texting because there's these certain feelings and thoughts
Yeah.
that come out.
Oh, yeah.
You never know. You never know when something's just gonna hit your
I'm
brain.
like that. I'm like that all the time. I'll come up with something in my head and I'm like, get the phone out, put it down quick. So yeah, totally get that. And anything can come from anywhere and inspire whatever that you're wanting to express. So yeah, it's wonderful if you keep yourself open for all that. It's
Yeah.
really,
Yeah, I
really
have to write
amazing.
it down. I have to text it to myself right away, because no
Yep.
matter how beautiful, no matter how important it is, if I don't write it down right away, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah,
Totally get that.
phones are a great invention for that. It's like, oh my God, I need to remember this, and get out my notes and write it down real quick.
Oh, I'd be lost without the notepad program on my phone. There's just no way I'd be able to keep.
Yeah, the
and,
cell
even
phone-
writing it, even trying
Greatest
to
inventions.
just
Yeah,
yeah.
it is. It is. Well, again, this has been Artie Hoffman
Artie
for our little
Hoffman,
Artie party
yes.
tonight.
Yeah, the hottest psychic with the warmest heart.
There we go.
There you go.
I like that. I like that. Maybe we'll make that the tagline on the interview. The
There you
hottest
go.
psychic with the warmest heart. There we go.
That's what it says on my business cards.
Yeah. Well,
Sweet.
I love it. I love it. Yes, it's perfect. It's perfect.
On my other card, it says Artie Hoffman, psychic medium, Jew with a clue.
There you go. There you go. There you
Oh,
go. Well, this has
So
been
I have-
absolute. Yeah.
Thank
but-
you. I have
yeah.
different cards for different clientele.
There you go. There you go. Well, this has been
Thank you.
absolutely fantastic. And yes, definitely got to have you back on again.
Awesome.
Awesome.
We'll love to do it.
Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Okay, so that was the always fun to talk to Artie Hoffman.
Yes.
Again, check out his book, Have Your Angels Call My Angels. Like I said, it's seriously one of those books that you don't have to sit down and just read it. You can thumb through it. You can, something will hit you that you're like, yes, this is what I need to get some advice on. This is a subject that's been weighing on my mind or something like
It's
that.
really good for that.
It is. Like I said, it reminds me of those little daily devotional book things that I used to get in church, where it's like, just little snippets. Nothing's more than a page or two long. But there's some good advice. So check it out.
Yeah.
We've got some more interviews scheduled, and
I'm working on my very special fun interview that I will be taking, quote, the lead on. But
Yes.
I look forward to that, and we'll announce that when we get that together. But the good part is that there's alcohol at the beginning of who we're talking to. So you guys will be able to talk about alcohol, and then we'll be able to talk about, the stuff that we're going to.
I'll get to drink and watch him talk.
There you go.
So,
And I probably guarantee they'll probably be drinking too.
so it could be fun. So, until next time, everybody. See you later.